Welcome back to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. Online, you can find us at retire210.com. Well, what's going on right now is kind of crazy as far as politics are concerned and federal workers are concerned. And as we speak on this show right now, there's been 75,000 to 100,000 workers that have either taken an early retirement from federal or they have been fired from their federal job. And the work is not done yet because, according to what Elon Musk wants to do, they want to trim the force by 10%, which is going to be another 200,000 to 300,000 people. So I've got to believe that there's going to be some people that walk through your door, Jay, that were former federal employees. Maybe they got a pension, maybe they don't. So what is that conversation? What options do people explore? Somebody's in their 50s and they go, what do I do? Do I got to go back into the private sector? Can I retire? What do you talk about with a federal worker right now?
Yeah, so we are getting those people sitting down with us in the office, and we're also getting people that were not federal employees, but they worked for some NGO, right, that is no longer getting funding, and they've got to figure out what they're going to be doing as well. The first thing we offer for those people, and to be completely transparent, we're actually prioritizing those people when they come in now because they're in a tough spot, right? So we're trying to put them to the head of the line with everything. We've really got to start looking at the financial planning side of it, right? Where are you financially? And we look at, are you in the retirement zone or not, right? Is this even something that we can consider? So we've got to go through the planning process first, see where they are financially, see if retirement's an option. Unfortunately, for a lot of the people that we've been talking with, they're just too young. If someone's 47, 48, 52, 53, it's just, for most people, it's too young to retire. Occasionally we'll get someone who's they're like, hey, this kind of worked out great. I was going to retire next month anyway. And they got their buyout. I was like, all right, hey, that's great. Good for you. I'm glad it worked out that way. And we're able to get them set up for retirement. But, for a lot of those people, they've got to really reskill, get back into the workforce. Probably it's in the private sector. And the next step is, hey, let's look at those government benefits that at least you've accumulated, whether it's pension, whether it's TSP, and figure out what's the best thing we can do with them right now.
There's a lot going on right now, headline-wise, and it's not over yet. The upheaval continues on, and we're going to see over the next couple of months what's going to happen with all of this. And the markets are going crazy. The unemployment rate seems to be going up. The inflation rate seems to be going up. There's a lot out there right now that's going to affect all of us, not just federal employees. So to sit down with Jay, and that's one of those crisis situations. Oh, my gosh, look what just happened. I need some help. Jay handles those all the time. I mean, whether you're in your 50s and that happens, or you're in your 60s and that happens. I think I saw the other day of 10 people, 6 people will not make their retirement date that they hoped. And it's not because they died. It's because they got laid off. There was a health situation. There was a health situation with their spouse. There was something that happened that they had to retire early. Those are those crisis situations that we really need help with. Jay can. Give us a call. 210-985-6200 is our number. 210-985-6200 or retire210.com is our website. All the way down at the bottom of the page there's a form fill. You can put your name and information in there, and our team will reach out to you. Let's get a date on a calendar. I've got an article in front of me, another baby. Hey, Boomer, another one of those articles. All right, this is in Money-Wise, and it says boomers make up about 21% of the U.S. population, yet they hold about 50% of the nation's wealth. I don't think that's a crazy thing because we've been saving all these years. Of course we do. But in any event, what boomers are known for is wanting to make sure that they're going to send money down to their kids and money to their grandchildren. They're very much that way until now, apparently, because inflation is up, the cost of living is up, the cost of going out of your big house that you've been in all these years with 4 bedrooms and going into something else, that price is not very appealing anymore. So baby boomers are now being a little bit more selfish, I guess you could say. What's wrong with that? And say, I'm going to make sure I'm okay first, and whatever's left over can go to my kids. Estate planning is kind of on the wane, apparently. And they say only about 40% of boomers even have a will, and they're unconcerned about that. They're going to put themselves first. Yet, 50 to 60% of millennials and Gen Xers say an inheritance is critical or very critical to their financial security. All right. Having all that said, Jay, do you see this happening right now with the people that you talk to, that they think, I'm going to take care of myself first, and I've done everything I can for my kids. Whatever's left over, they can have it.
Yeah, this is a lot to unpack. So let's get into it. And Randy, why are you and your friends screwing everything up for everybody?
It's all my fault. Hey, Boomer, you're screwing everything up.
But, you know, the point you make, hey, it's 20%, 1 in 5 people are in that Boomer generation holding 50% of the wealth. I'm surprised it's not more.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I really am surprised it's not more, because you're right. You're at either the peak of your career or the beginning of retirement, right? You've got a lot of wealth. So, I mean, that makes sense. I don't think that's unusual whatsoever. I will say this. I don't think it's the whole cost of living inflation thing, because before inflation kicked up, people had the same opinion.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
I'm retiring. I've helped my kids. I've put them through college, of whatever it is, right? I've set them up the best that I can. Now it's our time to enjoy this, as it should be, right? As it should be, really. And what you mentioned in here is what I hear over and over again. We're going to enjoy our retirement. We're going to do what we want. If there's something left, that's great. I want our kids to have it and to enjoy it, but that is not a priority in our financial planning. That's what we hear over and over. And look, I mean, for most people, if there's not a lot of cash or investments left, there's probably a house, right? There's something, right? So there probably will be something that is passed on to the heirs. Because of that reason, we are big advocates of estate planning. So I think I've told you this before a while ago. We started kind of building a network here where we have an estate planning firm that our clients work with to get the estate planning done. We've got a CPA group that helps with our tax management side of it. And every part, and then there's us with the financial planning and the investments, and every part of that circle, if you want to look at it that way, is talking to each other. So plans are integrated. There's a purpose for what's happening. And the reason we establish that is because we notice more and more, once people get to retirement, there's a few other things, not just the financial planning and the investments they're worried about. They start worrying about, how much of this money am I going to lose to Uncle Sam if I don't plan it out right? We need some tax planning. We need a tax planning component and partner to help out our people with that. And they start saying, hey, you know what? I'm at retirement. I can't keep kidding myself that I'm young anymore. I need to look at that estate planning as well and get that done. And even if you're not planning to pass on a bunch of assets, it's, hey, kind of whatever's left is left. Believe me, your children or your heirs or whoever you're leaving this to, they will thank you a lot for going and getting that estate planning done, rather than dropping an estate that has to go through probate, and it's a real pain in the neck. So you're helping them out a lot.
Yeah, I talked to an estate planner not that long ago, and I brought up an article of somebody who, I think it was on TikTok or something like that, and she had a video of herself, and she said, my parents passed away. It has taken me 1.5 years to get this unwound. And I asked him, I said, is that normal? He said, yeah, that's actually about normal.
Yeah.
About 1.5 years. That's
I've heard it take longer than that even. Yeah. So we actually had, I had some clients who were doing a review for just yesterday, and his dad died, I think it was 2021. And there was a will, but it was really old. And then he had handwritten something else in about how he wanted to have it changed. And one of the siblings did not care for that change. So so what are we talking about here now? 4 years?
Gosh.
It's going on. So long story short, get that taken care of.
Yeah, I remember when my wife and I bought our first house, we didn't have the down payment, so went to the relatives, went to my mom and dad, went to her mom and dad, and I think they gave us, let me see, Julie's mom and dad gave us $2,000. My mom and dad gave us $1,000, and my grandmother gave us $1,000, and she looked at me, she says, now, I'm giving you this under one condition. If I get sick, I'm going to need this money back.
Yeah.
But that's got to be another big concern of people that really wasn't listed here, and that is that people are afraid of the cost of long-term care. They're afraid of the cost of assisted living and memory care and all that goes in there. And that really does factor in to what we're talking about here is if you don't have a good estate plan along with your retirement plan, it's kind of incomplete, isn't it?
No, it really is. And, I started off by saying, hey, before the high cost of living, this was kind of the attitude anyway. We're going to spend what we want to spend. But what you said is absolutely right. That's almost the next thing that comes out of somebody's mouth is, hey, we're gonna enjoy this money. And look, this is the thing is, I don't know if we're gonna need it, if we're gonna end up in long-term care, if we're gonna need some sort of home health help. That's the thing. And that kind of lends its discussion to the long-term care side of it, right?
Yeah.
Longevity and long-term care that you might end up in. And the truth is, traditional long-term care policies, the old school ones you think of, I pay X amount a month and I'm going to get a certain benefit for a certain period of time. For most people, there's just no way they're going to be able to afford it to pay that policy, right?
Yep.
So the idea of, I need to preserve my wealth for me. Hopefully I never get into that situation and I don't have to use it. And if it goes to my kids, then okay, great. But I don't know what the future holds for me.
Well, we need to have that discussion. It needs to be part of the retirement discussion, and Jay has the resources to help you with all of that and getting the legal documents in place. And one of the things about having the legal documents in place is once you're gone from this world, it really does spell out exactly how it's supposed to go, how you wanted it to go, and all that infighting that we want to avoid with the siblings and all that goes along with that. Let's just take that off the table. Give us a call at Secure Financial Management. Give Jay a call. Let's talk through it. 210-985-6200 is our number. 210-985-6200 or retire210.com is our website. You can go there. Down at the bottom of the page, there's a place where you can put in a little information there. There's even a box that says, what are you most concerned about? That'll give us a real good idea what you want to talk about, and then let's get the conversation going. Again, retire210.com. Well, when we talk about retirement, one of the issues that people grapple with is, I don't know if I want to retire. I think I'm going to be bored. There's a new Mass Mutual study out there that says 67% of retirees are happier in retirement than they were in their working years. So that's good. So there are people that are still not sure whether they want to pull the trigger on retirement. And this particular article says, before you tell yourself you can power through another 12 more months on the job, think about if you really need to. And Jay, that is where you come in. When the figures are staring you in the face and they're saying, yes, you can retire. What is the reaction? Is the reaction, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I want to, or I can't wait, here are my keys, I'm done? What happens there?
Very often it's the latter. It's relief.
Okay.
That I have independence, I have freedom, I have choices, right? And this is what, just to touch on this while we're on this topic, this is what I have noticed over the years, and I start mentioning this to people now, and they're like, yeah, you're right. If we have somebody who's still working, and they're like, I probably want to retire, work's getting tougher, whatever it might be. And we do the planning, and we're able to give them the news that, hey, it's not a money issue now. That has been resolved. We've found out that you're good for that. Now it's when you're ready. Sometimes, or very often, that gives them a new lease on their work life. And they feel refreshed isn't the right word. I can't think of the right word I want to use right now.
I would say.
Empowered, I think. There you go. That's a great word. Because now they are there by choice, not by obligation, because I have no other option, right? And I'll say to people, I can tell when someone just does not want to work or can't work anymore because they drag themselves in. I've got to find a solution to this. I can't keep working. And then they're ready to go, right? Yeah. And if the numbers look good, I know the next day they're giving notice. Mm-hmm. That's not everybody. And I'll get people in here and I'll say, hey, look, you can retire. The money's good. This is my only other concern is I don't know if you're ready to retire. I don't get that feeling from you. And they'll say, yeah, I kind of like what I do. It's not stressful. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people I work with. And I say to them, look, keep working then. Don't retire. Keep working. Believe me, you will know when it's time. Mm-hmm. You will get up, sit on the side of the bed one morning and be like, is there any way I can avoid going into work today? That's your cue.
Yeah, when you're staring out the window at work and you're going, I should be out there instead of in here. Yeah, those are some of those retirement brain things that happen in those years. Well, Jay, we're coming to the end of the show here. When someone calls and responds to the show, whether they use our website or they give you a call, they're going to see your Get Me to Retirement 5-step process. In the last minute or so that we have here, go through that with me and tell me what happens when somebody calls. What do you ask for? Who do they meet with? What happens?
Yeah, so the first meeting we want to have when someone comes in, sometimes people are saying, hey, I thought I'd get, an analysis or we'd talk investment strategy. We don't talk any of that. We just talk, who are you? What's going on? What do you have to work with? What assets? What's your 401k like? What's your Social Security benefit supposed to be? When would you like to retire? What sort of life is it? What sort of retirement is it that you want to experience? Let us get to learn about who you are. So then we can go back and we can make a plan that's tailored specifically for you, right? Everyone's situation is very different. We've had some people that they've done a wonderful job saving. They've got significant assets to work with. Hey, you know what? Not everybody has been so lucky. Some people, it's been a bit tougher for them and they don't have as much to work with. We've got to know where you are, what you're trying to achieve. Put a plan together that's going to give us some answers. I can't promise they're going to be the answers that you want, but they are going to be real answers, right? And then we have decisions to make. Are we where we need to be? And now the option is, do we move forward? Do we retire? Maybe the situation is like, hey, with what you told us you want to do in retirement, we're really not there yet. We're really not ready to retire yet. If somebody moves forward, it's about implementing that plan, and then we got to keep monitoring it. The one thing I always say to people when we do some planning is, we're looking at multiple decades. And I say, I can't promise much in life, but I can promise you this is not going to turn out exactly the way that we're forecasting here, because things are going to come up, right? Things are going to come up that we're not expecting. So we've got to stay on top of this plan. And that's where a lot of plans fall apart, right? They're created and then it's, all right, set it, forget it, don't worry about it. And then it falls apart because you're not able to pivot and navigate around the things that life are going to throw you. So it's a vital part of the planning process. And
that last step in that 5-step process is that ongoing support. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that once you walk through the door and sit down and talk to Jay and build a retirement plan, and maybe it's a green light and you go off into the sunset and you retire and have a great time, that doesn't mean that's the last time they're going to see you, Jay, because as you say, things happen. I mean, look at how the markets are roiling right now. Look at what interest rates have done over the last couple of years. This is going to mean you're going to probably need to make some moves still in retirement. Set it and forget it is not a part of the vocabulary.
That's exactly right. If it is, you're setting yourself up to fail, is what I would say, because we create plans in the environment that exists right now, and that environment is going to change, and we have to change with it.
Give us a call. Give us a look at our website. Let's start that conversation and give you some certainty about your retirement, knowing that what your questions are, they can get answered, knowing that if markets go down, if inflation goes up, if Social Security goes down and all taxes go up, all these different things that could happen over your 10, 20, 30-year retirement, that you have a solution for those things that is built into your plan. 210-985-6200 is our number. 210-985-6200 or our website, retire210.com. And remember to have this podcast delivered straight to your favorite podcast platform by hitting like, follow, or the subscribe button. Thanks again for listening to Clear Skies Retirement, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jamin J. Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.